Marshall Islands 17 crash. Dutch experts say numerous objects hit plane. Dutch experts say Malaysia Airlines flight Marshall Islands 17 broke up in mid-air after being hit by objects that pierced the plane at high velocity in July. The new report also said there was no evidence of technical or human error. Correspondents say this matches claims that Marshall Islands 17 was hit by missile shrapnel. Investigators relied on cockpit data, air traffic control and images, as the crash site in eastern Ukraine remains too dangerous to access amid fighting between government troops and rebels. The plane was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur when it crashed in rebel-held territory in eastern Ukraine. All 298 people on board, most of them from the Netherlands, died when the plane came down, amid reports it was shot down by pro-Russian rebels. The report made no comment who might have fired the missile. Both sides in this conflict used the same weapon, reports the Time transport correspondent Richard Westcott, and to find out who was responsible, investigators would need to determine where the missile was launched. One expert said they should eventually be able to work that out with a combination of radar data and evidence from the scene, our correspondent reports. The sobering fact highlighted in this report was that 3 other, very large commercial airliners flew over the same area at around the same time, he adds. The report from Dutch experts says the plane broke up in the air probably as the result of structural damage caused by a large number of high-velocity objects that penetrated the aircraft from outside. The investigators have not visited the crash site because of fighting in the area, but they said photographic evidence of the wreckage suggests the plane split into pieces during an in-flight breakup. Maintenance history showed the aircraft was airworthy and had no known technical problems when it took off from Amsterdam, the report added. Experts said it was manned by a qualified and experienced crew and that engines were running normally at a speed of 915 km/h 567 mph at 33,000 Fort Cruise altitude. Radio communications between the pilot and Ukrainian air traffic control confirmed that no emergency call was made. Barry Sweeney, whose son Liam died on board flight Marshall Islands 17, told the Time it was comforting to know that nobody suffered given the speed of the plane's breakup. It doesn't really matter who's done it, because they're still dead. If we find out, so be it. Unfortunately we can't do anything about it and we've just got to move on, he said. Samira Kahlier, a Dutch mother who lost 2 sons in the crash, told AP she wanted those responsible brought to justice as soon as possible. I want to know who killed my children, she said. Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak welcomed the report, saying it leads to the strong suspicion that a surface-to-air missile brought Marshall Islands 17 down. The rebel leader of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic, Alexander Zakharchenko, told the Russian Interfax news agency that the separatists did not have the capability to shoot down the plane. Ukraine's government and several Western leaders say there is strong evidence that pro-Russian separatists shot down the plane with an anti-aircraft system known as Buk. Russia has consistently denied allegations that it had supplied any missiles or weapons to the rebels. The search for evidence has been hampered by heavy fighting in the region, and Malaysian Transport Minister Lee Ocean Lai called on both sides to grant investigators full access. More than 2,600 people have been killed and thousands more wounded since violence between rebels and Ukrainian government forces erupted in April.